Welcome back to another recap. Today we're diving into the movie Sinners. The film opens with a haunting narration. Some music, they say, is so powerful it can summon spirits from the past and even the future. Unfortunately, the same power can also invite something much darker. In the year 1932, somewhere in Mississippi, a man named Sammy Moore drives to a church, covered in blood, with claw marks on his face, holding a broken guitar neck. He enters the church where his father, Pastor Jedediah, pleads for his son to repent, drop the guitar, and ditch the devil's chords. But Sammy just clutches onto the guitar neck. We rewind to the day before. At dawn, Sammy is out working on the cotton fields. Back home, he wakes the little ones and starts rummaging under his bed, looking for something. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Sammy's cousins, twin brothers Elijah and Elias Moore, better known as Smoke and Stack, roll back into town after a stint in Chicago. They're parked in front of a decrepit sawmill, puffing cigarettes. A car pulls up, and out steps a guy named Hogwood, and he is here to sell the place. He leads the twins inside, and things get tense fast. Hogwood doubts they're serious buyers. The twins assure him they're dead serious, and throw in a warning. If any of his old clan buddies so much as step foot on their land, they'll be shot on sight. Hogwood laughs it off and claims the clan is dead and gone. Sammy heads to his father's church and finds both the old man and his beloved guitar waiting. The pastor wants him to help with tomorrow's sermon. Sammy grabs the guitar and tries to leave, but his dad is not letting him go without a lecture. What could possibly be more important than the house of God? Sammy says he's worked all week and just wants one day to be free. Jedediah fires back. That music of yours? It's for sinners. Sammy promises he'll be back in time for the sermon. But the pastor leaves him with one last grim note. Keep dancing with the devil, and he'll follow you home. And right on cue, outside, the devil honks. It's the twins, Smoke and Stack. Sammy climbs in the car with them. On the road, Sammy asks about Chicago, curious about city life. But the twins shut it down fast. Chicago ain't worth the smoke. That's why they're back in the Mississippi heat. They pull over near a cornfield where there's a car stashed between the stalks, packed with booze and guns. Turns out they're planning to open a juke joint. Smoke wants to wait a week to open the joint and do it right. Stack wants to open tonight, full throttle. They bicker, then split up to get things done. Before they part ways, Smoke tells Sammy to watch Stack's back. Stack and Sammy hop in their car and take off, and Smoke goes solo. He takes the second car, the one stuffed with booze and guns, and drives into town. There, he recruits a local girl to sit watch. He offers her coin and points to the horn. If anyone even breathes near the truck, she's to blast it. With security handled, Smoke heads into the corner grocery, where he finds an old friend, Bo. He tells Bo there's going to be a party tonight, the kind that needs fish for 100 people. Bo's curious about how the twins got so flush with cash, but before Smoke can say anything, he hears the horn outside. He rushes out and finds two guys trying to rob his stash car. Smoke knows them, but that doesn't stop him from shooting one in the ass, the other in the leg. He's got a reputation to keep. The twins are back, and they're not playing. Smoke heads back inside and pays Bo extra to have the wounded patched up. Bo's wife, Grace, shows up, and Smoke ropes her into the plan too. He wants signs made for the event tonight. They haggle, but in the end they strike a deal. Meanwhile, Stack and Sammy talk about women. Then Sammy asks what really happened to their daddy. Stack says Smoke killed him. The man was a monster who used to beat him until he passed out. One time he woke up from a beating and saw Smoke was already digging the grave. And that was that. Sammy takes out his guitar and plays a song. His voice slides out, smooth and heavy, like Mississippi heat. He's got the soul of a bluesman. They head to the train station next, looking for Delta Slim, a seasoned blues singer. Stack offers him $20 to play at their juke joint tonight. Slim declines. He's already got a gig and all the booze he can drink. But Stack sweetens the deal with a bottle of Irish beer and a crisp $40. Slim changes his mind. Deal done. Just then a woman, named Mary, walks up. She's an old friend of the twins and more than a friend to Stack, once upon a time. She's not here to chat. Her mother died just the day before, a woman who'd been like a second mom to the twins. But guess what? They sent no flowers, no condolences, not even a damn card. Mary is furious. Stack left her behind, and she knows he never planned on coming back. She tells him to go to hell. Meanwhile, Sammy's flirts with Pearline, a married woman, and casually invites her to the juke joint's opening. Then Stack gathers up Sammy and Delta Slim. He's got one last stop to make. They head out to the cotton fields where Stack finds Cornbread, an old friend, and hires him to provide security. Meanwhile, Smoke goes to visit the small grave of his child. His estranged wife Annie appears and greets him. They talk outside the house, but it's more than just catching up. Smoke tells her they're finished with Chicago. The two lost a child years earlier, which is part of the reason for their time apart. Annie claims her voodoo practices have kept the twins safe. Smoke carries a mojo bag on his neck for protection. He asks her why then this magic of hers didn't work on their child. She has no answer to that. He tells her then about their plans for the night. He wants her to cook. The two then reconnect. As the sun is going down, an Irish man named Remick runs to the home of a racist couple, Bert and Joan. Remick convinces them to let him in by offering them gold in exchange for protection from the Indians. Not long after, a group of Choctaws arrive and try to warn Joan. They tell her Remick's not who he says he is. He's dangerous. But Joan's so deep in her ignorance, she sends him away without a second thought. Back inside, Karma doesn't waste time. Remick turns out to be a vampire. Bert's already been turned, and now it's Joan's turn to join the club. The brothers finally open the juke joint, and it's packed. The crowd shows up, the music's playing, fish is frying, and people are dancing and having a good time. But behind the scenes, things aren't so smooth. The place cost a fortune to get up and running, and this community isn't exactly rolling in cash. Folks spend what they can, but it's not enough. Smoke is not impressed. Stack and Annie manage to calm him down. They convince him to let some folks pay with scripts, a kind of makeshift currency. Not ideal, but it's better than empty seats. Meanwhile, Sammy is excited to see Pearline show up, and they start talking. Mary also shows up at the door, and Cornbread isn't sure what to make of her. He gives her the classic "Are you lost?" look. But then recognition hits, and just like that, she's family again. He wraps her in a hug and lets her in. Inside, Sammy spots Mary from across the crowd. He weaves through dancers and drinkers to reach her and tells her she should leave before the twins see her. He adds that he's their cousin, like that'll carry some weight. Mary looks at him and realizes little Sammy isn't so little anymore. She offers to buy him a drink. They sit and talk. Sammy asks her what she is. Mary answers simply, a human being, but she knows what he's really asking. She explains her grandfather was half black. Also, her mother delivered the twins, and after their mother died, she nursed them like her own. Stack shows up and immediately tries to get Mary out the door, out of fear for her safety. Being seen with black folks in public at that time could cost her everything. He tells her the truth. He's always loved her. But love doesn't cancel out danger, and tonight, he just wants her safe. Trying to shift the mood, Stack calls on Sammy to play. The kid steps up, introduces himself, and starts working the guitar. He puts on a soulful performance, which entrances the whole crowd. Sammy's music is so powerful that he is able to conjure spirits. Black musicians across different time periods and cultures are shown in the juke joint, joining in the celebration. The joint visually appears to burn down while everyone continues dancing. And that kind of power doesn't go unnoticed. Outside, Remick the vampire and his freshly turned pets, Bert and Joan, sense it. They're coming. But inside, Sammy slips away with Pearline. He takes her to a back room, and things get physical. The vampires approach the juke joint under the easy disguise of traveling musicians, drawn in by the sound, or so they claim. They offer their instruments, their charm, and even some cash to buy their way inside. They even play a short set to sell the act. But Smoke isn't buying it. He shuts it down, doesn't care that they offered to pay. He tells them to try their luck at a white folks club. This place isn't for them, and he's not about to let trouble walk through his door. Remick keeps that friendly mask on and says they'll leave, slowly, just in case Smoke changes his mind. But Smoke makes it clear to his people, no one, under any circumstance, is to let them in. Later, Smoke pulls Sammy aside. He tells him after tonight he should go back to church. The life of the musician isn't as cracked up to be, and that life doesn't lead anywhere good. But Sammy has made up his mind. He's going to Chicago. He wants to be free. Meanwhile, Mary and Stack are talking, and she finds that the brothers have money issues. Turns out they didn't just hustle for this opening. They stole the money from the Italian gangsters and swiped the booze from the Irish mob. And they're gambling on them not connecting the dots. She says she'll approach the trio outside, charm a little money out of them, enough to get the brothers something in their pockets. Mary decides to go out and talk to them herself. She finds them playing music on the side of the road and approaches them. Remick gives her gold coins, which she is happy to take. They start chatting, and Remick tells her that she's in deep pain that money can't fix, but he and his people can save her. While Mary is impressed by their music, she sees something is off when Remick's eyes glow red and he starts drooling. Mary walks away, but we can see Remick flying behind her. Mary makes a big deal by asking Cornbread to let her in the joint. He does so, unassuming. Then she gives Stack the gold she got from Remick and kisses him right there in the middle of the dance floor. Then they disappear into a back room. As things get intimate, he notices something is off about her. She's drooling. That's when we see a fresh bite mark on her shoulder. Outside, Cornbread steps away from the door to relieve himself. Delta Slim, reluctantly deputized, takes over security. From the tree line, Bert and Joan lurk. They're trying to lure Cornbread and attack him. Back inside, chaos brews the old-fashioned way. A patron is caught using loaded dice and, when called out, retaliates by slashing another man's face with a razor. Smoke handles it. After beating the guy up, Smoke orders Sammy to get Stack, but he is too embarrassed to pull him away when he sees him and Mary in the middle of getting intimate. So Smoke goes himself. On his way, he notices Cornbread's post is empty. Slim says he wandered off a while ago. That's all it takes for alarm bells to start ringing. Smoke kicks open the door and finds Stack lying back, with Mary clamped onto his neck like a leech in heat. Mary turns and says it's not what it looks like. Smoke sees his brother is bleeding out and unloads both pistols into her. She laughs off the bullet holes and promises to kill everyone before vanishing into the dark. Smoke drops to his knees beside his brother and tries to stop the bleeding, but Stack is already gone. Smoke and Slim quickly order everyone out of the juke joint. The crowd scatters, and when the dust settles, only Smoke, Sammy, Annie, Slim, Pearline, and Grace remain. Annie tells Smoke they need to take Stack's body outside, but Smoke refuses. Instead, they lock the body in the closet. Then Cornbread returns. He walks right up to the door and asks to be let in. Slim asks where the hell he's been this whole time. Cornbread laughs it off. Annie narrows her eyes. Something isn't right. She tells Cornbread to admit that he's already dead. Cornbread, realizing the act won't hold, tries to pivot. He asks for his pay. Smoke reaches into his pocket and hands over the money. And just as Cornbread takes it, he lunges, going straight for Smoke's neck. But Smoke is faster. He shoots Cornbread point blank in the face. But it doesn't kill him, and Cornbread flees into the night. The others all hide in the joint shaking. Annie realizes they're dealing with vampires. But the horror doesn't stop there. From behind the closet door, they hear something. Stack is back, but it isn't him anymore. He demands to be let out, promising to kill them all, slowly, one by one. Then the door bursts open. He charges at them, but before he can do real damage, Annie hurls a jar of pickled garlic juice into his face. It sizzles and burns. Stack bolts into the night. Then Grace wants to leave the joint and search for her husband, but the others stop her, knowing it is too dangerous. Meanwhile, Remick has turned all the other patrons into vampires. Inside, Annie takes control. She starts prepping the survivors for the fight. Garlic, wood, silver, holy water. Smoke still clings to the hope that Stack can be saved, but Annie shuts it down. All they can do now is free his spirit by sunlight or stake through the heart. Sammy blames himself. His father warned him this would happen, that the devil would ride in on the rhythm of his music. And tonight, it seems he did. Annie passes around cloves of garlic. Everyone chokes one down. Outside, the vampires gather. They've made camp nearby, playing music of their own, singing and dancing in the field. Remick approaches the joint again with Bo, Mary, Stack, Bert, and Joan. He explains that the brothers were set up by Hogwood, who was going to have Bert, his nephew, lead other clansmen to kill the twins and their patrons. Remick does not adhere to the clan's racist views and instead wants Sammy, seeing his musical talents as being capable of conjuring the spirits of his own people that he lost. Remick offers the group a chance to become vampires, allowing them to live forever. When they refuse, Remick threatens Grace that they will pay a visit to Lisa, her and Beau's daughter. The survivors gather whatever they can: steaks, guns, garlic. Outside, the vampires arrive in full force, standing in front of the juke joint. Inside, panic rises. Grace, frozen in terror for her daughter's life, snaps. She screams at the vampires to come in, setting the final showdown in motion. Grace doesn't wait. She charges at Beau with a stake, and it ends with both of them engulfed in flames. As the chaos burns on, most of the vampires are either staked, torched, or straight up blown to hell. But it isn't over yet. Annie gets bitten. She knows what's coming, and she makes Smoke do the unthinkable. He stakes her through the heart before the change takes hold. Stack and Mary witness this, and their humanity briefly returns to express the horror and sadness at Annie's death. The vampires are closing in, and only Pearline, Sammy, Smoke, and Slim are left alive. So Slim takes one for the team. He slices his arm open, letting the blood draw the vampires to him so that the rest can escape to the second floor. There they are attacked by Remick and Stack. Remick bites Pearline. She's fatally wounded right in front of Sammy. Smoke and Stack continue fighting inside, but Sammy escapes outside with Remick close by. The vampire is faster and stronger. He claws Sammy across the face. Sammy hits Remick with the silver part of his guitar. It doesn't kill him, but it hurts. And every vampire feels it. One shot of pain, shared across the hive, standing in a circle around them. Then Smoke shows up to save the day, driving a stake through Remick's chest. The timing couldn't be better. The sun rises, and Remick and the rest of the vampires all go up in flames. Smoke and Sammy are the only ones left alive. But Smoke knows what's coming next, the clan. He tells Sammy to get out while he still can. This is Smoke's fight now. He arms himself, hides, and waits. When the clansmen arrive, they walk straight into a trap. Smoke shoots them one by one. Then he tosses a grenade for good measure. But he doesn't walk away clean. One of them manages to shoot him in the gut. He still blows the rest to pieces. Only Hogwood is left alive. He tries to buy his life with a stack of dirty money. Smoke answers with bullets. Lots of them. As he starts to die, Smoke sees Annie's spirit along with that of their child. He finally holds his child in his arms. Sammy returns to the church, but he refuses to drop his guitar despite his father's pleas. He ends up driving north with the guitar still in his hand. During the credits, we see Sammy, now an old bluesman in 1992 Chicago. He's got his own place now, a joint named Pearline's. After a set, he's approached by two familiar faces, Stack and Mary. They haven't aged a day. They greet Sammy warmly. Stack tells him Smoke couldn't bring himself to kill him. Instead, he ordered Stack to stay away, to let Sammy live his life. Stack can sense Sammy's nearing the end. He offers to turn him, give him more time to play music. But Sammy's tired. He's seen enough. He's ready when the time comes. He plays one final song, just for them. Before they go, Sammy admits the nightmares still come. But that night, before the sun went down, it was the best day of his life. Stack agrees and says it was the last time he saw his brother and the sun. The last time he truly felt free. The end. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time,